Hey everybody, welcome to GGS Railways. My name is Greg. This is my YouTube channel. All right, tonight we're going to do the second in this series of getting a second-hand layout going and some of the trials and tribulations that you may face. Now, I guess what I should have probably said in the first video is, if you know the person that put together the layout and you know that they have skills, that certainly would be a totally different situation than, something that, you don't know the person or know what they did, because on the surface, this one looks really, really nice, but there's just so many problems to the point that we're going to probably take up most of this track and probably redo it. They had a really good thing doing until they got to the track, and at that point I think the whole project kind of went sideways on them. So one of the things that they did was that they used an adhesive that kind of bubbled up through the track and created raised areas where your flanged wheels would run, which of course makes the train cars want to come off. I mean, you can shave that off, but they also use some fasteners that were not correct, and they stick up too far and they catch the bottom of the locomotives. Not a good thing. And anyway, there's just so many things that's just not right. Some of the radiuses they pieced in pieces because they didn't have the exact right radius, and that's just not right, and that's not something that you want your locomotives running on, because I mean, let's face it, the locomotives in the rolling stock, they're kind of expensive and you want to take care of them. So all right, so I think the first thing that I want to do in this particular installment is I figured out kind of sort of what this is. So I think this is an early Digitrax board, and it's got little sensors built into the track, and these were, I think, designed to turn on and off things. I think that's what these little blocks coming up here, and here is as they would go around the track, things would activate. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate this because I know for a fact that at least two of the sensors are bad, and anyway, I think we're just going to eliminate that for now. We can always put it back if we want to, but because the track has to come out and the sensors are kind of laid in the middle of the track, I think that's going to be our best bet at this point. So all right, let's get to getting this board off. I don't think we're going to have a lot of problem getting it off. It looks like it's just a few screws. So let's go ahead and undo that. All right. This circuit board is quite large. So I think if that's what this is, it was one of the earliest iterations. So yeah. All right. I think there are better things we could probably do with this space than this. All right, so that wasn't apparently holding it down. Uh-oh. My goodness. So it almost looks like this circuit board was kind of built in place. Wouldn't that be interesting? It may be something that's just totally homemade. All right, so coming right along. Knowing that this sat in a garage being walked on, and there's no telling that if this would have ever been able to work anyway. So, and once again, I think if you want to do things like this 20 years later, probably we have better options. All right, I'm back with the wire cutters here. So I've never seen these particular kind of connector blocks that they have here either. So that's pretty interesting to me. So all right, let's get to cutting these wires. I'm going to cut them in a way that, should we, and we won't, decide to reuse this, that we can. But like I say, I don't think that's going to be happening. All right, here we go. Here we go. So, no disrespect to whoever did this, and I'm sure it was awesome back in the day, but right now it's just kind of a cobweb of wires. So wow. Let's see here. is a lot of wires, guys. Since we are removing the entirety of the vast majority of the entirety of the track, I'm not too scared doing this. And frankly, I don't think it was doing much, if anything, anyway. So, alright, where are we hung on? I think we got it. So, I'm gonna hold this up to the camera just to show you what kind of an interesting thing this is. It's three separate circuit boards, and it looks like something that somebody made, frankly. So let's see if I can hold this up to where you guys can see it. So yeah, you got one circuit board, two circuit boards, three circuit boards, and yeah, that looks like that looks like something that somebody made, doesn't it? All right, well that's cool. Well, hats off to whoever did this. So all right, let's get back to what we're doing here, which is getting the table so that we can use it in the way that we want to use it, as opposed to the way that somebody else wanted to use it. I'm just gonna kind of pull these wires down below just to kind of get them out of our way. All right. Wow, much cleaner already. That's all right, I kind of need a trash bag over here. So it looks like the way that they had that fastened down was a lot of glue in most cases here. So that's interesting. So that'll be okay. So let's see. These little terminal things, not quite sure how that's supposed to work. This mounting screw, oh, it was literally glued. All right, well, cool. So let's see. Go ahead and remove this terminal if it'll let me. Let's see here. Well, that was not what I thought it was. That was just that terminal block, basically. So all right. So that doesn't seem to want to come off. And I mean, for purposes, there it goes. It was glued as well. All right, so yeah, that's just a cool little terminal block with a screw-on connector. So all right. So okay, that can go over here in the pile of things we don't plan on seeing again. All right, cool deal. So okay, as you probably can't see, actually, I took off a section of the elevator track here because it was quite poor. They could not make the radius exactly like they wanted to, so instead of using the correct track, they pieced in a bunch of smaller pieces of track. Clearly, this was either just meant to be a display model or it just was done incorrectly, because for running locomotives, it is not good. As a matter of fact, until we removed a bunch of nails, it wasn't functional at all. So perhaps it was never meant to function. I really don't know. It's all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scour this for the nails that they used. The nails that they used are the incorrect nails. I'm going to pull every nail that I see. And the problem is that the head is too big on the nail and it will catch the bottom of the train. So yeah, so we're just going to remove those, and that will also give us the flexibility to join the new track when we get it. I did order some new track today. Well, some new old style track, because that's what this is the old style track. It looks quite sharp up here though. I did briefly contemplate, and it doesn't mean that we won't still do it, but I did briefly contemplate changing it all to fast track, but I think this probably looks better, so we'll see. I reserve the right to change my mind. All right, so I think that's okay. That's just glued. There's another nail. So I think that my friend's dad, who was very educated in model railroading and built multiple layouts did not build this. I think somebody probably either gave this to him or probably handed it off to him to repair or something. And likely it's not. He threw up his hands and goes, "This is a big mess," because it is a big mess. It's really cool, and I like the actual layout portion of the layout. You know, the way the tracks go and so forth. But other than that, the handiwork is miserable. And probably the inspiration for this layout was the remote stuff with the sensors, and that's probably where this this layout came from. So, all right, still pulling nails. It'll be nice to have this cleaned up. So here's one of these sensors, and I don't know if I remove that or not. It sticks way up into the track, and it was hitting the bottom of my diesel locomotive, which makes me want to automatically remove it. Now we've removed all the infrastructure, so I don't really see a reason to leave it. Let me see if I figure out how this is supposed to come out. I think it just presses in there. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it does. So let's see. Looks like it's got wires connected to it. I'll show you the sensors as soon as I can get it up far enough to cut it. Maybe somebody will recognize it. Alright. Cut the wire here and then we'll pull it down below. Like I say, I bet you money that we probably wind up taking all this out anyway. So alright. So cool. So alright, I'm going to try to hold this sensor up to the camera. I'm not familiar with this at all. So let's see here. Can you see it? So that's what the sensor looks like. And that's the end with the wires coming out. This was just sitting in the middle of the track. Alright, so something old, whatever it is. Alright guys, so this is kind of what I'm talking about. You got kind of a nice piece of track going here, and then all of a sudden you hit something that looks like this. And that's not right. You can kind of see how the angle changes sharply, and the N-scale really doesn't like that. And check this one out. So as you can imagine, they come off here pretty much every time. So we're going to take those up, and I've got some sort of problem on this outer track, but now that I've removed the nails, it may be gone. Speaking of nails, I see yet another one. Wow, thought I had all the nails. So earlier, and like I said, I was in my bathrobe and drinking coffee and not thinking about doing a video. I removed this section because they had a long section, then a piece of a curve that wasn't the correct radius, then another piece, and then the small piece that was kind of offset, and it was just weird. And obviously it didn't work very well. So alright, this is what you get when you get a used or a layout that somebody else has built. Maybe they knew what they're doing, maybe they didn't. Now, once again, like I say, if you know who built it, and you know that they know what they're doing, well, that's a totally different story. Now this, we have no clue who built it, and clearly they didn't know what they were doing. So all right, let's get some of this track off. Let's do that. We get the camera back on the tripod. All right, guys, I got a little carried away. So the more of that track that I shucked off of here, the more I realized that none of it was any good. As a matter of fact, I'll show you the pile of debris that came off the table. I think we can all agree that the cleaner slate is much better to start with anyway, and we can do this correctly. They definitely did not have it correct. I've never seen that many nails used in a model railroad. All right, let me show you the pile. All right, I think we can all agree that this is, yeah, not a lot lost. I think we're probably better off to start over. That plastic was quite rotten, quite brittle on the ties for the track, and it just was not good. So I think we're going to be better off. So for the table itself, it is much cleaner and much nicer without all that stuff on there. So we will get the track that we ordered in, hopefully, and we can start placing it on here and making this just a whole lot better. So I think we got a good start. So I guess just in conclusion, some observations are, you know, if you're going to get a a secondhand layout, whether you pay for it or somebody gives it to you, I think you probably ought to at least consider, how old the layout is, who constructed it, and their skill level, and be prepared to change things, because obviously we changed the entire thing, didn't we? So that's not a bad thing. And I guess another thing to consider is, do you enjoy doing stuff like this? Are you buying something that you're expecting to use, like, kind of like it right out of the box, or are you willing to do something like this? All right, well, stay tuned. We will have episode or series 3, however you want to say it, just as soon as we get the track. All right, for now, GGS Railways out.